All ready?
Yep.
Why don't make me laugh now? I'm concentrating here, girl.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
trying to make it happen. You know what I mean? Lock in, lock in. All right, now you got me laughing. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another episode of the Carlos Granados podcast, or as I like to call it, the CG podcast. I would like for you guys to welcome my cousin, Stephanie. Stephanie, how's it going, my girl?
It's going very good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to have you on. You know, we've been trying at least, what is this, the second time we've been trying?
No.
Third time, maybe?
Probably like the fourth time to try to get me here.
Because you're never on time. You don't like to be on time. You don't like to be on time, and we couldn't set it up.
That's a lie. I do like to be on time. I just can't be on time. I don't know.
Wait, is that any better? Well, before we get started, guys, thank you guys for everybody who has, subbed to the channel. Also, whoever's listened to the podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Music. I appreciate the love. Again, if you guys have any feedback towards, the podcast or maybe some topics that you would like for us to discuss, or the type of people you want to bring, let me know. October is here, so Halloween. I'm planning on having a little, maybe a little story time. I can't tell you much, but hopefully when the episode comes out and we discuss some stories, it'll be fire. But Stephanie, so what's up, my girl? What you been up to? Talk to me.
Oh my God, so much. Like, I'm in my master's. I'm doing my master's.
Let's go.
Criminal justice over here.
Georgia State, right?
No.
Where you at?
Online, Purdue.
Oh, that's fire. Mm-hmm. Nice. Good.
And let's see, I'm also doing a Bible study as well.
Nice. Co-ed, or is this just women?
No, this is co-ed. Like, this is like an institution.
Oh, Wait, what do you mean Bible study then? So you're studying the Bible?
Mm-hmm. Like they teach you how to
Bible study, studying the Bible. I mean, but
so they teach you how to like understand better the Bible, like understand how to
scripture.
Yes, understand how to talk about it, and apply it into your life too. Like there's some things that you read it and you're just like, I wonder if that's the correct way.
Well, you know what? We're gonna get more into that, especially when we get more into our faith, because we're both Christians. So eventually, we're gonna get into the mix for sure. So your grad school, you're going to get your master's for criminal justice. You said, right? Mm-hmm. How long is the program?
It is a 1-year program, but it might be a little bit longer because for my next semester, I just started. So,
okay.
I took 2 classes, but I have way too much on my plate, as you can tell by me not coming here on
exactly.
time.
Can't even be on time to my podcast, man. Come on.
So it's just too much. I tend to take on too much sometimes. So, but I'll be taking one class at a time and take it slow. I mean, just whatever God leads me into it.
We can also get into that topic too about timing. If we have time at the end, we can remind me.
Okay.
But so what are you thinking about doing like afterwards with like that degree? Is there like specific fields you want to get into, or like what's it, you're interested in?
Yeah, I want to become an attorney and then a judge, guys. That's
ultimate
goal is a judge.
Hey, all right, bro. Listen, just remember I was there for you. Okay, I love you.
I got you. When you come in front of me, I will be like, you're sentenced to life.
All right. Yep. That's enough. Thank you guys for watching and listening.
Just kidding, guys.
No, that's pretty cool. So eventually, you're gonna do your master's for 1 year and then apply to grad school and stuff and become a lawyer.
Yeah.
That's so fire. And immigration, right?
Immigration and criminal.
Oh,
that's my passion. I like both.
That's so tough. So you can do the reading? Like, I feel like lawyer for me is just a lot of reading, and I was like, man, I don't know if I could ever get into that.
So I'm big into reading. I love reading. And then cases, it just intrigues me, like, to understand the people better. Because honestly, there is a lot of reading, but you also have a lot of connections with the people as well.
Gotcha.
As you're building your case, you're basically know every single thing about that person. Like there's not one thing that you will not find out about that person.
So are you planning on being what is the word in lawyer, defending people or persecuting people?
No, defending.
Okay, that's why you got
as personal, like, personal reasons and everything. And I've seen a lot go wrong with attorneys, so I want to defend people.
Got you. You know, I was just thinking that this wire right here, you could have connected it to here, and I was planning on to, but I forgot. So I don't know if you're cool with that. We should leave it like that.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, whatever. YOLO. Yeah. All right, cool. Whatever. I just noticed that, and I was like, why is mine not touching my? But we chalked it. It's all right. So, man, that's pretty cool. I'm glad that I always like people who do things and they have a purpose behind it, and maybe even a reason as to why they do that career. And I feel like that's a lot of potential out there. So I'm assuming that you got that interest from being because you used to be a paralegal, right? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that career. In my YouTube channel, I'm trying to share more about careers, and hopefully people can learn a thing or two from people's experiences, how it went, maybe some of the struggles that you went through, or maybe some of the things that you feel like you can advise people, or maybe give them, a tip or two if they want to become that. So how'd you become into being a paralegal? What was it like? And again, maybe why you left the field, because I know you did it in different offices, right?
Yeah.
So how was that?
So originally, I did not want to be an attorney. That was not one of my dream goals or anything like that. It was. I had just graduated, and I was working at Quick Trip at the time.
I remember that.
Yeah, and my mom was like, "Well, I wanted to be a police officer."
Oh.
And then I looked into like the requirements and all that stuff.
You said nah.
Not for me. I need my sleep, guys. And the as a rookie, you usually have to do like night shift.
Oh, they give you the graveyard right away.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's like nursing too. And nursing, sometimes they just throw you in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So I was like, no, that's not for me. And then I wanted to do afterwards, like I wanted to be an officer. That's what I wanted to do.
Gotcha.
But then somehow I did not really look into it afterwards. I graduated, and then my mom was like, well, why don't you go into like a law office and do paralegal, see if you like it, and this and that. Gotcha. And thank the Lord, I got an amazing attorney as like my boss for like the first job that I got as a paralegal. She taught me a lot, and she was really good at just, motivating me. And then I got into like the work, the motions, because as a paralegal, you basically do everything, You
do the dirty work is what basically
yeah. Like how a nurse is for a doctor, that's a paralegal for an attorney.
Oh, that's actually a pretty good analogy. Mm-hmm. Nice.
So I would do all the motions. I would collect all the evidence. I would talk with the clients and everything. And the attorney will talk to the clients, but the paralegal does everything, guys.
Like you guys are...
Yeah. We know the case.
Boots on the ground.
Yes. So I really enjoyed it, talking to people. And then just a lot of them would come here and be like, oh yeah, well, I had a previous attorney and they didn't do this and they didn't do that. And I was like, well, that sucks that you're not getting the communication. And then there's also, even though now there's a lot of people that are bilingual, they still don't know Spanish correctly. And I was like, okay, I've been translating since I was in diapers, basically.
Right.
So, it was nice to be able to communicate with them understand, like the clients understand stuff. And and the attorney too, like, I think when you have a great role model, you get into those stuff, into it really quickly. And then she left, and there really wasn't much for me to learn there. Like, I learned the basics of immigration and criminal justice there. And I moved to another attorney, and she was amazing too. She took me to court because with the second attorney, she took me to court. I did a lot of deportation cases.
Oh no!
So yeah,
oh man,
it was and I really enjoyed it, especially when we got people out on bond and everything. I would go over there. I mean, I fought with a district attorney too once, guys, for a case. I was on the phone with her because I had sent an associate attorney. Yeah. And she was like, oh, no, the district attorney was like, I can't sign it because of this. I was like, oh, no. I was like, I'm getting on the phone right now, and I'm getting these people like a U visa. Yeah. Like, because you have to have like a certification first saying like, oh, this person was a victim of a crime. Right. And I was like, no. Yeah. We're getting it. Like, they lost a baby, and they didn't want to sign that certification. So I was on the phone for like an hour fighting.
So, do you feel like, from what you're just telling me, do you feel like being a, a paralegal, like, or even an attorney, especially immigration, do you feel like you need to have like maybe like a heavy heart, or because from what you're telling me, just thinking about those people that you're defending or you're trying to help out, it must be heavy on your emotions, your feelings, your heart, like regardless of what your standpoint is or your point of view on immigration is, when you see that family fighting, to stay or to stay for their family members and or their family members watching them leave, like that's heavy on anybody. Like, you're human beings, it's like,
You have to be heartless.
well, you got that already, so that you're
No,
doing a good job already.
no, honestly, yeah, it does get very heavy. Like I think during like the Trump era, it was the toughest for everyone
Yeah,
because no one was getting bonds, everyone was getting
gotcha,
deported and everything. I think that was the toughest. Um, but you really have to be like, okay, I want to help people.
gotcha.
I think that's what has to be in your heart. Like
Yeah,
you want to help people, and for me, I always thought like there was no one there to help my mom, and especially with her case and
back in
everything.
the day,
Mm-hmm.
right?
So I was like, I want to be the person that someone can come to me and be like, I really need your help. And I'm like, okay, as long as we can say we did absolutely everything, we fought
Yeah.
like, with everything we got. And unfortunately, didn't the case didn't happen or we failed in the case and everything. But as long as it was in paper and it said
Yeah.
we did everything, I was happy, because we gave it our all.
So what I'm hearing is you at least want somebody to have a fair fight, like at least
Mm-hmm.
fight for them and try for them
Yeah.
as it should, right? Because
Yeah.
that's the court of law. Like, and I think we all want that to a certain extent in anything we do, right? We want somebody, or especially if you're paying them, to try the best they can in their situation. Again, regardless of whatever your point of view is, and I think that's pretty cool. So that's what got your interest into becoming more, and even an interest in becoming an attorney.
Yeah. I do agree. Like, on my first job, like I had that attorney, like I told you, like she was just amazing,
Yeah.
And then she also had associates too, and there was an associate there that just, oh my goodness, like they brought me into a room once. I'm a fighter, so
Yeah.
I like the boss brought me into a room with him, and he was like, "Oh, so what's going on? Like, what's the problem? Why can't y'all work together?" And I was like, "Because I don't want to work with someone that doesn't want to give 100% on each case."
Ooh.
I don't want to work with someone that's just here just for a paycheck. Like these are
Right.
people's lives. Like it
Gotcha.
doesn't matter what a case is.
Yeah.
Like if it's a winnable case or a case that just doesn't have enough evidence, but I
You want
want
to fight for that.
I want to fight,
I respect that.
because you never know. God, I mean, everything is possible for God, guys.
Yeah.
So,
Amen.
we're just here to fight the battles, but God is going to win the war.
As the ultimate decision.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. That's really interesting. So for anybody that maybe it's trying to get into the field or is interested in looking into being a paralegal, even before trying to become an attorney, you have any like tips for them, or maybe some things that you feel like they need to do, or like maybe some type of skills that you feel like they need to have?
I definitely go into internships, during the summers and stuff. Go in there to law firms. A lot of, some of them won't pay you, but the experience you get is going to be amazing. There's some
Right.
attorneys that are going to take you to the court and everything, and you'll learn if you really want to do that or not.
Gotcha.
Because I've had people that like want to do a certain career, and then when they're in the certain career, they're like, "Oh, this is not what I
that's
want
not
to
what I want
do."
to do.
So
Yeah.
that's one recommendation. I always say do internships. For anything that you want to do, just do internships. Go ahead and to try
Gotcha.
it out. And just if you want to be in like the legal, do it for the right reasons. Don't do it just because, oh, I want to get a paycheck. Because I've heard a lot of that too. Like, oh, attorneys earn good money.
Yeah, because they get more money.
But what they don't know, the attorneys that have like or get a lot of money are like the ones that work with like companies,
Gotcha.
corporations. For immigration and criminal, they usually pay for like the case, like charge for the case. They don't charge by hour or anything like that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So
that makes sense now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got you.
So like all of them, if they're really doing that, it's because they're really passionate about it.
Gotcha.
They're not doing it for the money because there's not much.
You know, when I took a business class back in when I was in college getting my undergrad, I took a law class, right? But it's more in the business section. And my professor, shout out to Professor Gerlecki, by the way, in Georgia State, he brought actual lawyers so we can ask them questions and we can ask those lawyers anything. And every week he would bring different lawyers because he was a lawyer before.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a lot of connections. So he would bring them to the classrooms. I mean, criminal, what else? Criminal, immigration,
business,
all the type of laws. Like you can name. He would bring them to the classroom and we would ask questions. And then by asking them, like, hey, how'd you get here? Or what type of cases have you dealt with? You can ask the questions to kind of find out if this is what you want to do from somebody's experience. And I thought that was invaluable. Like that was one of the best things that a professor could do for, its students. And it was amazing. So there was an attorney that said one time, he was like, look, there's, becoming a lawyer is hard. And then even finding a good law firm and finding a good job, it's hard, but there's always room for good lawyers. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that hit,
mm-hmm.
That hit a little bit different because I was like, that makes sense. Like it, in the fact that he was saying that he had so many years of experience, I was like, that can go a long way for somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it can also kind of filter out the people that are just like in between, like, do they want to do it? Do they not want to do it? And then I guess they can strive to be a good lawyer. So I appreciate you sharing that side of it because I can see that you're passionate about it.
We need more
people. We need more people like you.
And what better way to fight, man?
Nah, that's cool. Yeah, you fighter. Hey, man, if you guys don't know, man, Stephanie's a wild one. I'm telling you, she's a fighter. But so we've always had these conversations, Steph. Let's get into our faith a little bit because I know we had a deep conversation back in Costa Rica when we went to Costa Rica. That was a great trip.
Go watch those videos, guys.
Go watch those videos.
Like I go back once a month and see them again, man.
Yeah, we need to go back, explore the other side of Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
But how'd you get into your faith, and what do you think is some of the things that you feel like you've gotten out of of your walk with the Lord? Because I know before you weren't really close to God. You weren't an atheist, but you also didn't really.
Actually, I was.
You was?
Yeah.
Were you an atheist?
Yeah.
Okay, hold up. Now the conversation totally changed because I didn't know that. Because I just remember that you didn't go to church, and you always just you kind of looked at. You gave people a side eye who did go to church. Because I remember.
Okay.
So how did that come about? How did you become a believer from being an atheist at one point?
So my parents never took us to church or any type of church, but they did have us like believe in God. We would always say like, thank you, God, for this food.
Your grace.
Yeah, our grace. And, as Hispanics, we're like, primero Dios.
Yeah, primero Dios.
So, like if God permits, we can do this. So they did talk about God. They did say like, there is a God and everything, but we never went to church. I remember when my tia Vera, like your mom, took us to the Catholic church. Oh my goodness. I did not like it, guys. It was just, I did not like it. I went back home and I told my mom, I was like, don't you ever let me go back there.
Dang.
I was like, I don't understand what they're talking about. I don't like all those little figures looking at me. They're creeping me out. Like,
you don't like Jesus looking at you, girl.
So, then, our parents kind of got into accepted a God and around the same time, and
almost yeah. My parents we were already Catholic, but I guess my mom and myself and Lisa used to take it more seriously,
mm-hmm.
and then eventually, when problems happened in the family and things went down. You remember the things that went down. Well, eventually that's when they became to a Christian church because
mm-hmm.
I feel like that the family needed that at the time. And it's funny because that's when I stepped away a little bit like more from church because I stopped going for a while, after they left, and I was like, but keep going with your story.
So around that same time, I like absolutely was like, no, this is unacceptable. Like, y'all have to understand, we come from a family where we love to dance and we love to party. You know, I grew up on that. Like, my mom was like the hostess with the mostest.
You had your quinceañera.
Yeah, like, you know, and then because my parents became Christian and everything, they started going to church. You know, there was less invitations. Like I would tell my mom, I was like, no one's even inviting me to parties anymore.
Oh, because you you were missing out.
Yeah,
on the bangers.
Yes, and you know, like guys, I used to love to dance. Like I was like the first one on that dance floor, the last one to leave. And so, me being rebellious and everything, and I would just tell my parents, like, I don't even believe in God anymore. Like, I don't even think he's real. So I started saying I was atheist and everything. And I was like, it just, nothing can be explained and this and that, you know? And then one day they were sitting in the dining table and they were just reading their Bibles, right? Before they went to church. And I came in. This was my first year of college.
Okay.
I came in but me trying to be rebellious and be like, oh, I'm just gonna ask them some questions and like
test them out so I can just debunk them right away.
Yes, you know. Yeah. And so I started to do that. But every question I asked, my parents would just answer it. There was no, you know, screaming, no argument, nothing. We were just like how we're talking right now. Right. That's how I was with my parents at the moment. And I started to cry, guys. So, and you know me. Yeah. I'm not a crier. So I started to cry and I was like, why am I crying? Like, you're not telling me anything. You're not regañándome or anything. Yeah. So, and my mom was like, well, that's God talking to you, touching your heart and, you know, reaching out to you. Yeah. And so I went that weekend to church. Then I was like, okay, I'm not going to accept right now. I just want to keep coming and see. Then I went the following weekend, and that following weekend, I did want to accept and everything. Like, I felt it.
So, let me stop you right there real quick. So, for the people that are confused as to why Stephanie keeps saying accept, because in Spanish, we have something, the word makes more sense when you, quote unquote, accept Jesus, but it's basically accepting him into your life, into your heart, basically accepting that fact that you will follow him from now on, right? Because as you know, God is a gentleman. He'll knock on the door, but it's, your job to open it and let him in. So when we say accept, it's basically saying we're letting him into our hearts, into our lives. And, from there on, then, the process starts. But so if she keeps saying that, then that's what it's for. That's what for the accepting of, the Lord in Christ as, the Lord as your Lord and Savior. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'll explain that a little bit more because I learned that and it got me a lot closer to God too when I learned like accepting God into our hearts because you really do have to open yourself, like open your heart, open your mind, open your soul in order to accept him. Because like you said, there's many people that go on and say, oh, I have accepted. I believe in God. Yes, I'm spiritual, whatever. But they're not really following what Jesus and God really wanted from us, from his children, really want. So, where was I at?
You were in the process where you first started going to church during college and stuff.
So like the following weekend, I went again and I was like, okay, I'm going to accept this weekend. I'm going to accept. So at my church, they have a call in for you. Like if you want to accept Jesus, come up front and we'll pray for you. And
what is it called in English? I forgot what it was called.
It's because I go to a Spanish church.
Yeah, I know. But it's there's a word for it. If I think about it, we'll mention it. But it's like more of like the old school way, right, of things, or do you consider that old school? Or what do you consider that? What is it called in Spanish?
Bueno, aceptar.
No. Apóstoles, profetas.
Oh, sí. Yeah, they're apostles and prophets. Evangelistic.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's an evangelistic church. Guys.
Okay.
So I wear a veil and everything.
Yeah.
And we're
skirts,
dresses, So like that. When I wanted to accept, my pastor actually was going up. He was talking so much that day, and he normally does talk a lot, but he was talking so much, and I'd go to my mom, and I was like, oh my God, he's not gonna call me up no more, like because before
you lost your chance.
Yeah, like because before, like I would because my mom would make me go and everything, and I was just like, tell him not to tell me if I want to accept because I don't want to do it. I just came here because you told me to come,
Yeah,
kind of situation. And then he after that he did, and he made me go up, and he was like, because I was so rebellious, like he would go to my house and talk to me, and like I would like
Yeah.
zoom out of the house,
Right.
if I would be coming back from work, and I would see like someone else's car that I didn't know, I would make a U-turn. A U-turn. So that was me, guys. And once I accepted, it was nice. It literally feels like, a whole weight is like lifted off your shoulders
Yeah.
when you do it. When you really do it for the right reasons, and because it is from your heart, it does feel like that. Like everything's out of your
Yeah, and
shoulders.
can we admit something that up to that point it's scary? Like it's not, because it's not scary as in the sense of like you know you're just afraid for no reason, but it's more like that it can be a big change. Sometimes the enemy puts that in your heart too, like, hey, I'm gonna let you be afraid of this decision because I don't want you to go. You know what I mean? I like where I have you. So all those, even going to church for the first time and then consistently being there and even having that calling that you had, it's a scary feeling, because you can feel that spiritually. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like spiritual things shake you sometimes, and that can be a tough decision.
Especially being young. I mean, I was 20 when I accepted, and the first thing that comes up, because we were like a whole clique, guys. Remember, like the whole clique that we had of friends and
Family.
everything. And you normally do see, like, when you accept, that everyone is kind of disappears from you once you accept, and you're just like, well, I haven't changed. I'm still the same person. But I actually learned, like, no, I'm not the same person.
Right.
I have accepted God, and I'm going in the path of God. And if He has removed these people, it's because they're not going to lead me closer to Him.
Right.
And it's better that way, because another thing that, like you said, fear is one of my biggest fear, is being like a lukewarm Christian.
Right.
And it says in the Bible, like, God will spit you out and like vomit you if you're lukewarm. Like He will not accept you. Like you're not going to be accepted into His kingdom. And so once I started to kind of, read a little bit more, and I became a Sunday school teacher too, like that. Oh my God. Like I started, because I was
went
reading
from basically an atheist to being a Sunday school teacher. And
yes,
that's crazy.
And I've learned so much, and I've connected so much with God. And, we've gone through so much in the family, and at no point I've ever felt, oh, we're gonna be, why me or why anything.
Right.
I honestly can't say I've never said, God, why us? Like, why my family? I'm like, no, God, whatever you're doing at the moment, you're doing it for the right reasons. You're allowing us to have our faith grow in you. You're allowing us to be someone's testimony. Was it testimony?
Your testimony?
Yeah, for someone else. Like,
Yeah,
we can speak it.
Yeah.
Talk to someone else that maybe is struggling and thinks, oh, there's no other way, and we can talk to them and tell them, like, look, I've gone through so much, but God still has me here. So it really does mean, like, once you accept, like, if you really accept through your heart, like with all your heart, and like, you really mean it, God has you protected, guys, no matter what you go through.
And even with the protection that we have, it's not like we're not going to go through things. If anything, God will test. Well, I wouldn't say Him will test you, but He will let things happen to you, to your family, because that's where faith starts, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to believe and it's easy to trust when you're in a good place, when you're happy, when everything is going great and amazing. Yeah, of course I believe, shoot, God is good all the time. But it's when, it hits the fan that you're just like, okay, this is where your faith needs to start working. And God lets things happen to you or through you or anything around you. So then eventually, He can see that you actually come to Him when things are, going bad or they're not going the right way.
And literally all He asks for is, like, if anyone knows, or look it up, guys, like a little mustard seed. It's so tiny. Like, it's smaller than your pinky finger and everything. And that's all He's requesting. And sometimes we can't even
faith,
give
by
Him.
the way.
Yeah, faith. Faith. And that's all He's requesting, that amount of faith. And sometimes we can't even give Him that, which is, and like you said, when we're good and everything, we're like, oh, thank you, God.
Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus.
And when
Praise the Lord.
Yeah. And when we're like really going through stuff, we we're also that's the time where we're like praying the most, reading the most, or something
Yeah.
like that, you know. But you really have to be connected with God at all times and be thankful, because
Yeah.
through those hard times, you also grow, and you're also get more connected to God.
And we've all been guilty of that.
Yeah.
All of us have been guilty. Like
Yeah.
I sometimes kind of, I want to say, hey, here's a strong word, but I really dislike when people think like you're supposed to be perfect, and it's like, homie,
No.
if you understood, like God, like the reason we need Jesus is because we are so not perfect. We have so much flaws that we need to correct, you know, and that's what we seek God for, because not only do we choose Him, right, but He also chose us. And like, you know, sometimes people think it's like, oh, they see you something, doing something or saying something. Oh, I thought you were a Christian. I was like, homie, you know. But you can't,
Yeah.
you know, keep your eyes on that. The Bible always talks about, you know, concentrate on God. Whatever you're going through, concentrate on Him, and then worry about the rest. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people concentrate on, like, if they go to a church, oh, it's because that church, you know, the pastor
Yeah.
does this, like the members do this, the
Yeah.
members do that. And like you said, we're not perfect. The only perfect man is Jesus, and when he
Correct.
walked at this earth. Other than that, all of us, we are
Yeah.
sinners,
So far.
and we're not even close to what Jesus was, you know.
Yeah.
And we really do need to stop looking at other people, because everyone is struggling. Like, that's one of the things I have learned in these last couple of years, you know.
Yeah.
Because I used to be like, oh my God, like, but he's supposed to be this, like, you know, and why isn't he like, but he messes up so much. But I'm like, no, like, this path is so hard, especially living in a world where it's controlled by the devil, guys. Like, that's
Well, so, you know, talking about that too, though, like that in itself, I remember hearing when I went to service one time that, you know, you wonder why sometimes people are like, they consider themselves Christians, right? And they are very flawed, but they still have like a lot of grace from God. But a lot of the times, what we fail to see is like, because they actually admit their flaws, like they come to God and like, God, I'm still messed up, and whether people see it or not, you see it. And God actually prefers that. He prefers you to acknowledge that you are flawed, you know, because you can't lie to the Lord. Like, He knows your heart, right? So things like that too, you also have to become an understanding, like, when it goes through faith. Like, it's like, I feel like it's such a long process, and like the rewiring of your mind is, it takes time. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of time. So, man, we can talk about this all day. I'm telling you.
Oh
It's
my
fun.
goodness.
We can talk about this all day.
Yes, we really can. And I really love that. You know, also the people that you hang out with helps you walk in your faith a lot too.
100%. You know, community, right? And the Lord talks about community all the time. It's almost like there's this phrase I heard one time is like, you know, show me 5 of your best friends and I'll tell you who you are. It's almost the same thing, right? The people you hang out with and the people that you're around with, you know, it's bound, you know, for you to either get something from that group, right? You know what's funny? And you know, I don't want to, you know, put, you know, to my own horn or anything like that, but when we hang out with like a lot of my small group friends, and even with you and people who are like, you know, trying to get involved with the church or have community and get closer to God, I notice a lot that when we have conversations, almost all of conversations end up leading to like Jesus somehow, like the Lord somehow. Every conversation that we have, I mean, one time we were talking about MMA and we had this big discussion, and all of a sudden we were talking about Jesus like 5 minutes later. But it's not because we're just like want to turning into that, but it's because it's natural, because we're a group that, you know, is trying to follow the Lord. And, you know, we don't feel pressure to talk about it. No, we're outside of church. We're having a good time. We're enjoying some good times with friends. But a lot of our conversations lead to that because we're all trying to have like that same goal of trying to build that relationship. And like, I've noticed that, I mean, a lot of the conversations just like sway that way. And I'm just like, wow. Like, that's how you know there's a group of people in a community that you're trying to do better with. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of, you know, your mistakes, your sins, but like it's I don't know. Oh, it's very, very, and that never happened to me back, you know, when that wasn't the case.
When we used to hang out with like our old friends, guys, no, we would never talk about you know, being Christians or God or Jesus or anything. It was like, oh, and mind you, we were. I feel like we were very healthy youth, like no drugs or anything involved, guys. Drugs or alcohol, and like none of that. But we were never talking about Jesus like that. But now, yeah, like you said, now, when I get together with my friends, like Jacqueline, your sister
My
too,
sister.
we go out to eat, and yeah, everything always leads back to us just talking about God, or like, oh my God, we saw this, or
Yeah.
we read this, and like, oh, can you believe like this was happening, and
Yeah.
yeah, or like anything in our lives that goes, and it's just amazing. It really does feel amazing. Like your heart's just like
Full of.
yeah,
Yeah.
of love and everything. And you do make a big change, even though you don't. Everyone wants to be like, oh, I'll never change. It's necessary to
Yeah.
change. It's very necessary to change in order to accept God.
Yeah. And a lot of people ask sometimes, like, how do you know that God is real? How do you know, he exists and stuff?
How do you know Eric exists?
You know. Okay, we're good. I think no, but I think it's what you feel. It's the peace you feel. A lot of the times, and even in the Bible, it's spoken out, a lot, that he's the missing piece to like your life. Like he's the one that ends up fulfilling you, and like it's hard to understand for people who are not involved like that. And eventually, when you try, to get that relationship with the Lord, and you feel that peace, bro, God's peace is like no other. Like it's better than the highest high you've ever had. It's literally something that I consider, and the only word that I can use is supernatural. Like something beyond my understanding of like the type of peace that you felt, And you don't, it's hard to feel that very often, but when you do, you're like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be like, and that's quote unquote kind of technically it's supposed to be all the time, but because we have so many flaws and so many sins, like it's hard to get to that point. But great conversation. Steph, you want to say something? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say what you said. Like, unless until you really, really, really open your heart to Jesus, like there, even when he was walking on earth, the Jews were the people, was it the
Israelites?
Jews, yeah, Israelites.
Yeah.
They were going by the laws, that they had 602 laws, if I'm remembering
I don't
correctly.
remember.
But they were like, oh, if we follow all these laws, we're gonna be saved.
Yeah, I'm going to heaven.
Who is gonna be able to remember 602
That's a lot.
two laws and actually follow them through? And that's not what God wants. Honestly, He just wants you to open your heart, and in order to for you to accept Him, and He'll guide you guys. Like honestly, sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, like, and.
Yeah, and for the people listening, I want you guys to, or listening or watching, I want you guys to understand or know, we are not trying to impose our faith on you guys. We're just sharing from our experience. Obviously, that decision, an ultimate decision, it's gonna be yours. I feel like it's something that I'll send along the lines where I have my YouTube channel, and I tell people like, hey, this is my experience with my surgeries. Would I have done this or that? The decision was mine, But whether you're gonna have the surgery or not, I'm just sharing my experience, and you build what you want from that, and then make that ultimate decision for you. But we're not going to impose what we believe. We're just letting you know that what our experience was like, but we definitely want to share the good news. We want to share the what we go through. But I appreciate you sharing that.
Mm-hmm. And another thing too, like you have to remember, we as Christians, it is our job to talk about God to people. It's
the good news.
Yeah, the good news, His miracles, everything. It is our job. Like that's our one thing. When He went to get Peter and Andres and to be fishermen, like of man, fishers of men. So that is our ultimate job, to talk about God to everyone. And I mean, we could talk to a lot of people about God and Jesus, but if you're not going to accept Him, like nothing's going to happen. Like,
Yeah, it's not. It's not. Again, it's not that that decision is not made by us.
Yeah.
We just,
we just got to spread the word.
You just got to literally spread the word.
You just got to spread the word.
And just, and I'm glad that we can talk about it.
Yeah, my like since the Costa Rica, because like you said, in the Costa Rica trip, we had a very deep conversation. And then when you told me that that you accepted because I took you to Victory.
I don't think people know that, so we can talk about that too. That's cool. Yeah.
I didn't even know that until that time, guys. Like,
and you saw how it affected and how
yeah.
Well, but okay, wait, this is important for many reasons, not just for the obvious reason, but So if you guys don't know or aren't like, well, I've been saved for about I think 4 years now, going into 4 years in November 9th. So Stephanie was one of the first people that took me to the church that I attend. Like I serve there now, right? I literally talked about with my friend who was on the podcast here, Jamie, last time about my serving story. Well, that same church that I serve at, Stephanie was the first one that took me there. And I don't know why you like to go to 9 a.m., but she liked to go so early. So, but I went there a couple of times, and eventually when I ended up finding, my way to Christ, I was like, I need to go to a church. I was told to go to a church because, you need to find community, maybe small groups and things like that. And eventually I ended up going. And the reason I ended up going is because I was like, well, Stephanie took me here one time. So now let's get here. So the reason I'm even giving you all that backstory is because one of the reasons why I even started my YouTube channel, and not just this podcast, like the reason why I wanted to help people and share my stories and be vulnerable, be very transparent with myself to you guys, is because right here, you know what I mean? Shout out to Steph, because I feel like God, after I found my relationship with Christ, he gave me a purpose to use my sickness and my experience to help people, right? In whichever way possible, whether it's become, either you make decisions or maybe give you the strength and hope that you needed from somebody who's going through just as much as you are, if not even more, right? So all of that is the reason why I even built my channel. And it's tough because people don't understand how vulnerable I have to be when I share everything, because I want to be honest with them, and I mean, everything that you want to know about my health, it's in my channel. It's there for you to see, and it's there for people to judge, and it's there for people to say whatever the hell they want, because the internet is crazy. So even that in itself was something that is tough, but I feel like there is a gift in me from God for me to want to share all those experiences. And eventually I ended up learning that, but that's because, you took me to a church that now helped me find a small group, helped me open up, helped me get over a lot of fears through, you've met some of my small group friends.
Yeah.
And, God works in mysterious ways. And maybe you thought your purpose, wasn't, whatever it may be. And the Lord has a purpose for you, but you were one of the reasons as to why I'm even who I am and where I'm at now, because just for guiding me to that church that couple of times that we went,
Yeah.
it doesn't take that much.
Guys, and to tell you, I do not like to wake up early, not anymore.
Bro, nah.
But I would always wanted to go there early, and it's just, and I don't go there anymore, guys. And I'm not saying it's a bad church. I think everyone needs to. That's another thing. Everyone needs to find a church that is.
They find right,
that you feel God in, like you're connected.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. I love Victory. I loved how they would preach, and they're still preaching. Man,
Yeah.
I still see their videos and their podcasts. I listen to them too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I love when people preach and they give examples of their lives too, because I feel like it helps other people.
Oh yeah.
And then one thing I want to talk about right now, you just mentioned, is purpose. Oh my goodness.
Purpose is a big word.
Oh, I was just thinking about this because I mean, we're really not supposed to say what we pray for, but one thing that I do pray a lot for is my faith to always grow, and then for God to use me in any way possible, like to show me his purpose.
Yeah.
And then this week, I think I've had 3 people call me about like their immigration status and trying to they're becoming US citizens and everything. And then I started to like think about everything that I've done since I got to doing my paralegal stuff, kind of going back to that. And I'm like, well, maybe I'm already in like the purpose that God needs me to be. Like, maybe he put me as a paralegal to learn a lot more, and then to be more compassionate. So when he permits me to be an attorney and a judge, I can like have that in my head, like, hey, how much people struggle just to get their case, to be all the evidence and everything. So, be more compassionate and everything. So purpose is big, guys. Like,
yeah. And I think personally, I that purpose word, I use it because I felt like, and I've been told this, that through my health journey, I would help so many people. And my purpose in life, besides being a good brother, a good son, whatever you name it, it's also helping people in my community and my story and everything that I've been through. So I feel like I'm blessed to have found the quote unquote my purpose early on in life, where I can like concentrate on that and put efforts into that to make a difference. And I know I have, especially from the people that have commented on my YouTube channel. I mean, I've had crazy stories, and people share their amazing stories, all because, I've been, oh, you want to know something crazy? Oh, we're going to get mixy just from that purpose stuff. Listen to this. Hey, this is only God. So, this is crazy. I'm still thinking about it. Well, here we go. So, I during the fiscal year of my work, you're gonna be as amazed at this. This is only God, bro. This is crazy. So I know I keep saying that, but now I gotta share the story. So, but during the fiscal year, this year, they told us that at the end of the fiscal year, which is ended in September, that I was gonna change teams. So the original team that I was, at, and I was comfortable, I knew everybody. I was gonna get changed to a new team. So last week I spoke to the new branch chief and my new team members, and I've been new to the to where I work at for the federal government for a couple of years. Well, and there's different. There's a branch chief, and there's 6 of them, right? So there's 24 teams. Well, my branch chief, believe it or not, I talked to him yesterday, and he literally told me, like when we talked yesterday, we were talking, we were getting to know each other. What was the plan for the rest of the year? All that stuff. And we talked yesterday, and he was like, "Hey man, I got something to tell you." He was like, "What?" I was like, "What?" He was like, I followed your channel for 2 years before I even talked to you." I was like, "No way." About 2 years. He was like, "Yeah, man, like I've been subscribed to your channel for about 2 years now." And I was like, "Yesterday?" He was like, "Yesterday when we talked, your name seemed familiar, your voice seemed familiar." And I was like, "How do I know him?" And he remembered that it was from my YouTube channel. Like, he's been watching my videos since like I almost started, and he's my branch chief, right? Like, I'm like, wait, I don't know how to act right now. Well, first of all, I couldn't believe it because, he's been suffering from health issues himself, that to the point where he had to go YouTube. Many of you guys have done that with my channel, and they've had to go and search for help or, some experiences or anything. And we used to talk, like interact through like YouTube and even my lives. And I was like, how did this guy know so much about the federal government? Like, he knows a lot. And I remember those conversations. And I'm like, that was you.
Does he not have like a picture on his YouTube right there or anything?
No. I don't think he did.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think he did. That's the reason I couldn't even see it. Like, and even if it was like 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't really remember. Yeah. But I remember the conversations because I was like, this guy knows way too much. And of course, he's like up here in the federal government. And I'm just like, okay, hold up. I don't know how to react. So I went from like calling him like, "Yes, sir." And I was like, "Homie, bro," it was like, I already knew you. Cause with my channel, I always do that. Like, we're friends, we're cool, we're homies. And I was like, no, I apologize. I called you homie. My bad. But now he was like, "Nah, you're good." But it was amazing. And I was like, all because of and now we met. But unfortunately, I told you, thank the Lord. And, I ended up getting a promotion. So I'm leaving the team. So the reason I called them was because I'm like, "Hey man, I'm sorry, I'm leaving the team and I can't be, I will have loved to stay and help you guys out." But right after I told him that, he was like, "Yeah, dude, I've been following your journey and I was like,
"Ooh,
wow."
Next guest.
I told him, I was like, "Hey, I need to have you on my channel." And he was like, "Man, I'm kind of camera shy." I'm like, "Bro, you're a branch chief. Like you lead teams, not just teams. You lead 4 teams." I'm like, I don't want to. I was like, "Come on," but hopefully he joins. He lives in DC. He's out of DC, so
okay.
I think DC or somewhere out of that's not in Atlanta for sure. So we'll see if I have him on. I'd love to have him on when he's here. But we're definitely meet up and talk more about our health issues and even talk about his experiences. Maybe we can make some videos out of that. But I just want to tell you that's how cool. Like,
that's amazing.
Your purpose,
yeah,
can lead to something that later on in life, like this guy, shoot.
And find your purpose is not going to be like right off the bat, guys, either. Like it could take a while.
It can. It's just God does things in his own pace, and I think that's where you gotta trust.
Yeah, he knows why it comes at certain times. Like I know you said you had accepted 4 years ago.
Yeah.
You've been So for me, it's been 10 years this year that I have accepted. And I was just thinking that, like, because one of the questions that I also get, and as a man, they don't get that as much as women, and I really hate
Let
it.
me hear this. We're about to get
But,
mixy.
it gets to my purpose, guys. But I have to say this first. It's, why aren't you married yet? Like,
Oh yeah.
like they think because you're a certain age, and I'm 30 and I'm proud, guys. I feel like I'm just starting to live. Like, your 20s you make so many mistakes. You're always broke. Like, what you gonna do? you know,
You ain't lying.
you're not really experiencing like life for real. Like, and as 30, I feel like I have learned a little bit better of how I am and everything. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be married and have kids.
Right.
It, like, as women, you're not that's not something that you need to do, guys.
Yeah.
The woman was not created just to have babies. They were created to be a support system to the man.
Yeah.
That's why. And I feel like a lot of people forget that. So, and for me, if I've connected a lot with the youth at my church, I have a lot of conversations with them. Which
Hold on, what?
conversations?
Oh, okay.
What did you hear?
I don't know. I heard something else, but that's probably mine. It's a check one. Go ahead.
We'll listen to it.
We'll listen back and we'll see what's up.
But yeah, I've had a lot of conversations with them. A lot of them struggle, especially in their teen years. Like, teen years is the worst time to be a Christian. Like, I don't say don't be a Christian, but it's just because
it's hard.
It's so hard. There's so many stuff going on in your life. You're like getting out of high school, going to college. You're getting that freedom, and you're seeing the world. And you're not seeing the world correctly. You're seeing the world as like the devil is put in and painted it for you. So a lot of them, leave the church and leave God behind, and they're like, oh no, like, but I've gotten the chance to talk a lot to these to the youth, and I'm like, okay, I don't know why I'm not married. I don't know why I'm not in a relationship. Like, I can't. And I hate that question. Like, why aren't you? I'm like, I don't know. Go ask God and then come back and tell me.
Yeah, He hasn't provided you the homie yet.
Yeah. So, and whatever it is, I just know that at the moment He has me for a different purpose.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest connections that I've done, and I never thought this was going to be, was like I said, Jacqueline with, and then another friend named Jasmine too. We connected, and they're growing in their faith, and I see them, and I'm just like, from what they were to now, I'm just like amazed,
Yeah.
and how close and how like they're young and how close they are to God. It just amazes me. And I'm like, okay, if God keeps me like this for a little bit longer, then I'm completely fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with whatever God has. But you also have to learn to like, there's a reason why you're in that situation. And also, like, if I would have gotten married earlier or anything, I wouldn't have been as strong in my faith as I am now.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. So everything has a purpose, and we just need to kind of accept it.
I like that. I appreciate you sharing that stuff, because you can tell that you're passionate about the topic, and you're passionate about your faith. And I love that, you don't hide it. You wear it in your sleeves, and I appreciate that. These are good conversations, to be honest. We need to have you back some more in the podcast. We will. We're gonna have a lot of friends come back, and we're gonna get mixy with it. But one of the last things that I wanted to to talk about, you sent me a TikTok yesterday that you wanted to talk about. So explain to us, why does it bother you?
I sent you two.
Let's talk about the
tip?
The tip one.
So I keep getting these like everywhere you go, you have to tip. And now it's not like before. It's not like 10, 15% or whatever. Now they're like start at 20%, 22%, 25%. And one of the TikToks was like, God is only asking for 10% of your
and you're asking for 20.
You're asking for 20? Yeah. So I was just like, that's so crazy. I want to know someone else's point. I personally, depending where I'm at, like if I have to order and I still have to go and pick up my food, I'm not tipping you.
Really?
No.
Okay. I respect that.
Because
you didn't do it. You did your job.
You did your job. That's your job.
Yeah.
I had to still go do it. Like, but if it's like a Uber, I'll leave a tip or anything. If I'm in a restaurant, and a waitress, she's coming, giving me stuff and everything, I'm going to tip it. But now, like, you go to a gas station or anything, and where did I go? To this cookie place. I went to a cookie place, and they were like, "Leave. Do you want to leave a tip?" I was like, "No." And like the person's just standing there, like just looking at the iPad
To see
if you're gonna tip. I'm like, no.
Hey, I got a question though. You know, there's a stigma around, at least with us in the Latino community, that we are cheap and we don't leave tips. And I think that's for the most part has been kind of true, because I've seen when I used to go with family members, we don't leave big tips, you know, especially like even if it's restaurants or stuff. I feel like we've never left, or at least from what I experience is like, yo, Latinos don't be leaving good tips like that. Like regardless of what, I don't know if it's, you know, we struggling or there's a stigma that goes around with Latino community though. I'll tell you that.
My parents have taught me to, you know, live a good tip. They do it too and everything, you know, especially like waitresses, they don't earn much. So, and they're doing that job, you know, I do that. But in other places, I'm just like, no, like this is your job. Like this is, let me get the job description. I'm pretty sure it's telling you.
This is part of your job.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the machines now. Like now when you pay, they're like the same machines they are using to like put your order in. They flip that thing around and they're like, you know, they just wait. Okay, sign here, and I'm like, that's telling me to leave a tip, not sign. And so you gotta leave a tip first, then sign. I'm like, all right, whatever.
And they do it with style and everything, like,
yeah,
and look at you,
they know, bro. It's psychology. They know what they're doing,
but they don't get me. I'm like, no.
Well, you know, yeah, I'm cool with it. If it's like sometimes it's like if I buy something that's like $10 and it's like 10%, I'm like, all right, whatever. Here you go. You know. It's cool. I'll be cool with that. I mean, it's an extra $1. All right, bro. You know, here you go. It's not a problem. You
but
know?
It is becoming a crazy
But I feel like
thing.
it's becoming, yeah, it's getting out of hand.
Yeah,
it's
like,
getting out of hand.
It's being done in places that really is not necessary.
Yeah,
guys.
I think it's just businesses trying to find a way to compensate their employees more by paying them the same rate. You get me? Because if they leave you tips every now and then, you know, those are tips that you probably didn't receive, you know, without like. Well, you didn't receive before, and now that you are, you know, you're cool with getting paid a certain amount if people are leaving tips nowadays. Yeah. So, I mean, they're changing the game. We just got to get it used to it.
Nah, dude.
Nope. Would you like to leave a tip? X.
No.
That's crazy, man. That's a good one. But dang, Steph, these was deep conversations, man.
For the next time, we're gonna talk about the differences of travelers, guys, because right here,
oh my god,
big.
Let's get into that. We're gonna talk about differences in travelers because we are totally different in our views in traveling.
How I didn't leave Carlos in Costa Rica amazes me,
dude. No, okay. Let's not talk about that. You like to leave the house at 8 and come back at 8. Let's not do that, okay? 12 hours. I'm going on vacation, not to get more tired.
Guys, for me, stay vacation means like I get to rest, okay? Because I'm at my house, I'm resting, and I just did that like this last weekend.
Yeah,
I was on vacation, and it was me at home and everything, you know.
Right.
But when I go to places, I want to have an adventure. I want to go see, like we went to Costa Rica. I want to go see everything I can because I don't know if I'm going to be able to go back. That's my mentality,
bro. That's the problem. You should be one. You should be like, you know what? I will come back.
And I try to do zip line in every country that that's my goal. Like,
yo, that zip line in Costa Rica was crazy though, bro. We were like above the mountains, like we were on the highest mountains, zip lining. And I was like, by the way, with my health issues, it took me like 30 minutes to get there, and everybody else, it took them like 10.
I joined him because I'm not a hiker, guys.
Yeah, no, it took us a minute, bro. That was so tough. We
were struggling. Like you see those videos on TikTok, they're like, "Oh, the view," but in order to get there, you're like,
"Bro, I stopped at least 3 to 4 times, and I was like, all right, hold on.
I'm gonna pretend I'm here waiting for Carlos, but
everybody else who was in front of me like zip lined, and there was only like 3 people left by the time I got there, and I was like, all right, yeah, it's just tough."
But it was cool. It was I really enjoyed that zip line. I enjoyed everything we did. I feel like we did a mixture of everything, like relaxing and had a good adventure.
Yeah, Costa Rica is a very interesting country because I mean, I live in El Salvador, and Costa Rica is not that far from El Salvador. I mean, I'm from El Salvador, but Costa Rica is not that far from El Salvador. But the amount of like animals you see in the jungle. Bro, looking at toucans, monkeys, or whatever.
Sloths.
Wherever, yeah, everywhere you're at. And I'm just like, why isn't it, we have the same climate. Why isn't it El Salvador like this? Like,
You know, it has
What
to,
is that?
It has to do with also like if you notice, like now we have like and I say have because I feel like I'm from El Salvador too, you know, even though I was born here though, but I was made over there, so
Yeah, you were made over there, born here. That's
yeah, I was imported.
another story.
But I think like just the presidents that they had before, the political parties that they had before had a lot to do with it too.
Oh,
And then Costa Rica is very known, like they've been very strict, like even
with their animals.
yeah, like their animals. Like if you saw also like in El Salvador, you can ride on the back of the truck. In
Yeah.
Costa Rica, they're like,
Yeah,
no,
you can't. They're more civilized.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like I didn't even see a stray dog, guys. Like I see more stray dogs here in America
Than in Costa Rica, bro.
Everyone had a leash on their dogs and everything, and the roads were clean. You know, it was so peaceful. Like it was an amazing place.
I see why, like, you know, a lot of people go retire there because I saw a lot of white people there too, like a lot, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like we went 3 hours away from the city, and I felt like I was in America.
Yeah,
The amount of people that, like, you know, were in somewhere over there. I'm like close to the beaches. I was like, hey, that makes sense. I feel like that's what Costa Rica has a good rep. Hopefully in El Salvador we can lock in. Bukele, keep going, baby.
Yep, it's getting there. Bukelito.
Run it back, Bukele. Run it back. We're voting back again. It doesn't matter what people say. Whatever you did in 4 years, run that. No, wait, 5 years, run that shit back.
Dude, I'm trying to get my dual citizen just so I can vote for him.
Oh, we gonna vote. Well,
just
you
so
don't
I can
have
vote for him.
Yeah, let's go make a difference. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Costa Rica was fun. But the whole point of this was I'm a very adventurous kind of person. I like to do activities. I mean, I booked for all of us there was like a whole adventure day where we went horseback riding, ATV, and
that was a tough day for me.
The zip line, and we did a kind of came down from a waterfall. Like Jacqueline, me, and Rebecca came down from a waterfall.
I remember that. You guys were a bunch of Spider-Mans.
Yeah.
Who was the one that went down so fast? I think it was Rebecca.
No, she took forever.
Who was the one that came down? It's Jacqueline?
Jacqueline, at the end, she started like hopping off and everything.
Yeah, one of you guys were just like, dee, 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 and I was like, damn.
Yeah, Jacqueline was coming down really fast and everything. I slipped.
Yeah, I saw.
I slipped.
I feel like it was a little dangerous.
Because it started to rain, guys. It did start to rain, and I was wearing...
Maybe there's a reason they call it a rainforest.
Where's the sound effects?
That was a dad joke. My bad. That's all I got for you guys today.
But it was fun. Then we went on a cruise, very
cruise
relaxing.
And the lighting. That was the good.
He
good
spent the whole time there just at the beach. The rest of
Amen.
We went on like the banana boats, snorkeling. So it was fun. And then what else did we do?
I don't remember.
Oh, we spent a whole day in the beach too. He was tired for nothing, guys. We really didn't do much.
I was tired. Yeah, you know what? In this point, you might lose this debate with our people because we all have health issues, most of us. So you might lose this one. Like, you doing too much. But it was good, man. We need to go back and run it back for sure. Whenever I feel better.
And we had a good group of friends and everything.
It was a good time.
Yeah,
it was a good time.
It was
a
good
time. Yeah, we need to.
We'll just leave Carlos at the hotel
next time.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that. Just knowing the fact that I'm close to the beach, I'm okay with that. Yeah, but Stephanie, anything else you'd like to share to the podcast community, to my community?
Don't give up, guys. Just keep going. Take it a day at a time, you know, and you'll see. Even if you don't think that you're aiming in the right direction, God has you going a certain way. You'll get there, but it's not going to be in your time.
Yeah.
Your plans, yeah. Laughs. God laughs at your plans.
Yeah.
Because they're not really the correct plans. But just keep going, guys, and push through. I know sometimes it's super tough. We all go through stuff. You know. Also, another thing was like I've gone through depression too, so it gets tough, but just keep pushing and you'll be okay.
Yeah. Well, next time we'll have like a 2-hour podcast with you, and we're about to get mixy.
I think we always go into like really deep conversations.
Yeah, bro.
Carlos and I go to deep conversations.
Yeah, and that's how you know we've grown. And we weren't gonna have this 10, 15 years ago. What were we thinking? We're gonna go eat next.
For real.
Man, I appreciate you, the words of wisdom that you brought in today, Stephanie. I'm sure it's probably gonna help somebody out there. So even this is part of your purpose, sharing your testimonies, your stories. And for anybody listening, if you have any questions for Stephanie, myself, always leave them, in the comment section. Thank you guys for following the channel. Thank you guys. For the guys, the people that are listening, we're on YouTube. You can watch our podcast in 4K. So don't forget that. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can get updates, and whenever either I go live or when I post a video, you won't miss it. So don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you guys can, always get the best content from your boy. Also, we are also on Apple Music, Spotify, and Amazon Music. So if you guys would like to show some love and subscribe so we can grow the channel, that would be awesome. Again, thank you, Stephanie, for being here with the channel. We're going to have you back again. We're going to run it back for sure. We are. I trust.
Let's book it a month ahead.
A month ahead. Oh, God. PTSD right now. All right, guys. Thank you guys for the love. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later.